everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lunar to Eternal Blue. This is episode 78, I believe. And we are in the water ruins, which I did not know existed prior to the last session. Nothing like re-renting a game and hoping your game save was there. Absolutely. That happened to me multiple times on Shining Force 2. Shining Force 2 is one of the games that really, really got me into gaming because it was just the coolest thing my little kid brain could ever fathom. And I had so much fun with it. And then I took it back and got it back, and my save file was gone. And there was a different save file, so I loaded up that save file and I tried to play it. I say that, actually, the first time I rented it, I had no idea what was going on. And it was one of those menus of when you boot up, if there's a save file, it automatically is like, do you want to continue? And so I was just like, yeah, I guess. I don't know, right? Because I was a little kid. And I was just like, continue. And so I started playing someone else's save file in the middle of the game. No fucking clue what I was doing. And fortunately, I very quickly realized, oh, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I restarted. But yeah, I ended up renting that game. How is there no unspoken Richter's code not to delete saves? Well, I think maybe there was, but like, yeah, that's the thing. In a game like that, there are only so many save slots. Like, I think with Shining Force 2, I think there are like three or four save slots or something like that, right? So, you know, I ended up just renting that game one weekend and keeping it for like 3 or 4 weeks until I beat it the first time. That was my solution to that problem, was to just keep it. And we had like $20 in late fees, right? But it was just keep it until you're done, basically. Berserker Claw, hell yeah. It's the I have the full dragon set! Woo! I did it! I'm a dragon boy now! The Sega and Super Nintendo were yours, but mostly your brother played because the games didn't interest you for long. You played Mario, Crash, Kirby, and they didn't make me happy like RPGs did. Yeah, I mean, I do have a soft spot for a lot of those types of platformers and things like that, but RPGs are what hooked me in gaming. Because RPGs are those first forays of really being cool, because I read a lot as a kid, right? So like a platforming game, especially if it was hard and I didn't understand what was going on, when I was a kid, would frustrate me. Once I got into gaming, I was like, hell yeah, let's play some platforms, right? Like, let's do it, let's go. But getting into gaming, it was the reading and the really cool characters that hooked me. Because I was already a kid that read a lot. I was already a little nerdy, right? So getting RPGs absolutely were my gateway drug into gaming. And now I play fucking anything. But you know, that do be the way it be sometimes. Alright, we're going to heal up Jean's Metapool. We got a full score with this. Fucking... I don't remember whose stream I was in. I think I was in like KJ's or Karkala's stream the other day, and that's someone said something like that. Someone said like, that's around 80 points, and I was like, we got a full score with this, or vice versa. I can't remember which one. You read so much as a kid. You were reading chapter books when everyone else in my grade was learning what the letter A sounded like. Absolutely the same thing, right? Like, I was reading stuff like Narnia in... I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but like I was the kid in what was it called? We had... It's the Scholastic Book Club or whatever it was. Where you had to read books and you would get points for it. I was the kid reading, like, everyone else was reading, like, whatever the minimum requirement was. I was the kid reading all of the books as much as I could and, like, cashing in points for, like, I got like a mini TV one time. Like it was a little TV like this, right? But like that was hot shit when I was that age, right? So I was a voracious reader. Almost to a fault. Because I once I had read everything that was appropriate for me and my age, I would then be like, well, there's got to be other stuff to read. And of course, there was other stuff to read, but probably not what I should have been reading when I was 9 or 10, you know? So, yeah. Anyways. It's, reading absolutely is my secret passion, secret vice. I actually have to be really careful. You read Stephen King's It at 8 years old? Right, like, that's pretty damn young. But yeah, like, I was reading horror stories and more adult-themed literature very, very young. And, you know, it had an effect on... I mean, it made me smart. It made me book smart. I was very good in, like, school. But it also you know, messed with my head, I think. But anyways. I have to be careful about how much I read in this day and age, because it seems silly, especially considering I play video games every single day. But like if I read, if I let myself get sucked into reading, I'll call into work. I'll stay up hours into the night finishing a novel in a single day, and then just be like, nah, I don't fucking care, I'll call into work the next day. And that'll get me into trouble. Looking back, I'm all, why did my dad let me read that? But then you saw Aliens in theater at 2 with your dad? Gotcha. Yeah, I have a interesting scenario. My parents were very, like, permissible when it comes to, like, me experiencing things. They weren't like, oh, let's like let you just do whatever, right? They would set boundaries for me, but they were absolutely that kind of scenario. Like I was watching what was it? Things like Friday the 13th and stuff like that at a sub 10 age. I was watching stuff that I couldn't fully understand the issues within before I was old enough to have any sort of concept for it. And that translated over into reading as well, right? Like my house had plenty of adult romance novels in them, and when I ran out of reading my books, I just started reading other books. So, you know, reading and reading things too young and reading things too much, and how reading also got us into RPGs, etc., etc. We were talking about really cool puzzles and water temples and things like that, and then we got into the concept of like how books were a gateway drug, I guess, to RPGs for us. Your mom had so much Danielle Steele? Yep, plenty of Danielle Steele in my house when I grew up. Don't remember how it's spelt, but you read those for a summer and then was bored with them. It was the other way around for you. RPGs got you into reading. That's pretty cool. Ah! Somebody leveled. I think it was Leo. JRPGs were a gateway to reading. I, like I said, right? I was pretty poor growing up. I'm still pretty poor. What am I talking about? But... I was always on the back curve of gaming, right? So more often I had books to read. So when I was very young, I just read a shit ton of books. And then when I started getting into games, I naturally leaned towards the games that were stories, right? Because Mario you can play and you can have a lot of fun with, but But Mario on the Super Nintendo, even like Super Mario Brothers, isn't really a story necessarily. I mean, there's a story there. It's just not one that you read. It's one that you experience, right? So I automatically leaned more towards RPGs because of that. You remember learning how to read from watching your grandma play FF6? One, your grandma playing FF6 is awesome. But two, that's also really cool. Like... Don't get me wrong, I like/love my grandma, but she's not playing FF6 cool style scenario. My mom plays video games. I think my dad, like, has dabbled in games here or there. It's not a big interest for him. But my mom has played video games here or there. Your grandma lived with us until you were 8 and you slept in the same bedroom as her? Huh. I always had my own room. I mean, I didn't always have my own room, but from my earliest memories, I basically had my own room. Which was pretty fortunate for me. We were not wealthy. We were not well off, but we did live kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. In what I at the time would have been like, this house is horrible, but now I'm like, that place would be a luxury condo to what I can afford now, you know? You have a vivid memory of her playing Secret of Evermore late one night? And you were sick and watching her play? You were probably like 4 or 5 at the time? That is wild. I don't know why I say that's wild. I guess I could not imagine that situation for me, right? Like, I could not imagine me being 4 or 5, sick, you know, in a dark room watching my grandma play Secret of Evermore, right? You know? Like, that just would not compute. You've never had your own room growing up? One point, it was 10 people in a 2-bedroom. You're the oldest of 6? My goodness. I have a... Like, in some ways, I have a... I'm not going to say rough childhood by any stretch of the imagination. While I may have grown up poor, I still grew up pretty privileged, right? Not gonna argue about that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But I grew up in a very kind of like quintessentially American household. Parents, one boy, two children, one boy, one girl, right? Around the same age, so there's not like this massive like age gap scenario. In a house where the parents had a bedroom, one child had a bedroom, the other one had a bedroom, etc., etc. So like, I did not grow up well off, but within the realm of what I grew up in, I was very privileged, right? It feels weird looking back at my childhood and saying that I was privileged. But I'm trying to be honest with myself, right? And fair to people who are not privileged at all. It wasn't until you were 24 when you were in a roommate situation that you got your own room and weren't sharing? You're the youngest of 3 and we lived and still live in a 3-bedroom apartment? Yeah. Yep. That's why I say, right, like, I have to realize, looking back at my past and recognize, right, like, even though it wasn't what I would expect or discuss as being like, oh, we were super well off and we had a great time. But I'll still say it was privileged because of the amenities and the, you know, the situation of being able to have my own room and et cetera, et cetera. Like I talk about being poor to the point to where I was on the back end of consoles. There are people who are so poor that they've never had a console, right? So I feel as if it is it behooves me to be what's the term I'm looking for here? Clear or appreciative of what I did have. You didn't get your own room until your middle brother joined the Marines when you were a sophomore in high school. Yikes. I say yikes, but, like, that's fair. I guess if you're growing up with it and it's what you know, I imagine it's still quite frustrating. But, like, I will say as a person who has had their own room for most of their life, that sounds not super great, honestly. I had my own room growing up for the majority of my life. I had my own room. I went to college and I was in a dorm, and I still kind of had my own room because the guy I was rooming with joined a fraternity and was just never there, right? So basically I had my own room there, and then I moved into an apartment with other roommates and I had a shared room with a girlfriend at the time, right? And then every other time past that, I've either been living with someone I've been in a relationship with, or I've had my own room either in an apartment or in a household or something like that. Like, I've never really shared a room outside of a very, very brief stint the first couple, like, weeks of college. You're poor in some regards, but not in others. Your dad worked at Value Village, so you were never hurting for clothes, and honestly, you think you got our gaming systems through the donation system? Well, that's nice, at least. You slept on the couch in the living room from middle school until then? Ooh. Your first console was an Atari 2600, and the NES came out 3 years after you were born. You were a bit behind. The first console you got that was new was a PS2. That's actually the first console that I got that was new as well, was the PS2. It was also the last console that I got that was new. I guess technically I purchased other consoles that are in generation. But yeah, the Sega that we got, the Super Nintendo that we got were several years after they came out. The PlayStation that I got and the 64 that I got were a couple years after they came out. Not like several years, but a year or two. I think I got an Xbox as like a hand-me-down from a friend, or like we got it off of someone who got a new one or something like that. I don't remember. But then the PS2, I think, was like, I got a PS2 in a high school, and it was like a big deal. It was like, oh, my parents had a really good year. They, you know, like, I was doing really good in school. Like, it was a, you have to, I don't know if it was like a you have to earn this type situation. I don't remember specifically, but it was the first time where it was really like, oh yeah, gotcha. You got it for your birthday a few months after it came out with Evergrace. Nice. I don't even remember when I first started. Oh no, I say that. I know several games. We played things like I remember playing things like Soul Calibur 3. I remember things like Bloody Roar 2, I think, or it might have been, I think it was 2, maybe 3. Stuff like Zone of Enders was a really big thing. Obviously, right, like Final Fantasy X was a big deal. I actually, like, I remember the whole scenario of I played Legend of Dragoon, basically, when it came out, and then I remember the PS2 coming out not long afterwards. The Water Guardian, fuck! It's fine. I think. Hopefully. It's fine. Okay, here we go. Divine Litany. Slam Dance. Burning Rage. Earth Prayer. The boss sprites in this game are dope. The sprite work in this game has been phenomenal. The boss sprites really do look really, really cool and evocative. I will say the only thing I think lacking from kind of, the game's fun to play, but lacking from kind of like a modern perspective is complexity, right? The game absolutely suffers from a concept of over-leveling. Once you get beyond a certain level, boss mechanics don't matter anymore. Or once you get a little bit past a boss's level, the boss mechanics don't matter anymore. And the boss mechanics they're not especially intricate, right? Like, they don't combo with each other especially frequently. Like, that big golem, that big stone giant pulling us in, I thought was really cool, because I thought it was going to be like, pull us in, and then cue up a big slam, and it kind of didn't do that, right? That would have been really neat if it had. What the fuck? Did he just bubble me? What is this bullshit? I've been bubbled. I've been bubbed. But the sprite work in the game, period, I think is amazing. I think the different animations for all of the enemies, not just the sprites or the bosses, but all of the enemies having different animations for the different attacks that they're going to perform is so incredibly fucking cool. It is like it's one of the neatest mechanics in an RPG that I've ever seen. It's very, very, very cool. Because most RPGs, it's just like, you have no fucking clue what the enemy is going to do. It's just like, oh, this enemy, all it can do is swing at you and do 10 damage, right? Or, oh, this enemy can do that, but also can do a AoE poison hit, right? But you have no idea what it's going to do. In this game, you can learn, this motherfucker's streaking with electricity. You can learn what the enemies are going to do by their animations, and it's fucking amazing. That's super cool. What is this fucking bubble? I'm very displeased by this bubble. Cure all conditions. Unbubble, boy. What the fuck? Now, I will say this. Obviously, there are plenty of games where enemy animations are factored in and you can kind of like learn them. But I will say, most of those games, especially modern variants, tend to be action games, not RPGs, right? Most of those are... Ooh, that doesn't work. Okay, we cannot free him from the bubble with an item. Wildly painful, that hurt a lot. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, well, see how that goes. My goodness.
Thank God for miracles.
But like a game like Dark Souls, right? You're like, I'm going to learn this boss's patterns, right? A game like Mega Man, right? Like you learn the boss's patterns. You learn, oh, the sprite changed. He raised his gun. I know he's about to poof, 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 so I need to jump on the wall and hold, right? Like that type of situation. Those are kind of typically indicative of platforming games, or action-oriented games, not RPGs, right? It's pretty rare. Obviously, in the modern era, it's less rare, but in old games, it's pretty rare to find sprites that indicate a change in tactics.
Thank God for miracles.
Thank God for miracles. And they're just so, like, so good looking. Like, look at this fucking axe beak on this fucking thing. You just got your third job in Fiesta? It's Summoner? What was your second job? I know Dragoon was your first job, but I don't remember what your second job was. Bard? Oh my god. Bard? Dragoon? Summoner? You're gonna kick the shit out of this run. Bard is able to cheese so many things. Summoner is just solid. Dragoon is just solid. Like, you're gonna be aces. You got Mime, Red Mage, White Mage, Ninja. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Like, definitely workable. I say workable. There's nothing in the game that isn't workable for clarity. Mime is free magic and Red Mage is dual cast. Yeah, absolutely. Oh. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, my bad. Go again, Leo. Go again, Leo.
Blue Dragon Hall!
Oh, just a sweet boy. You can dual cast Holy all day? Fuck yeah.
Taste my refreshment.
Dual cast Holy and then just mime it, basically. Or mimic it. Mime it. My brain.
I'll take care of this.
That's pretty sick. Ninja there just for shits and giggles. That bubble is not great. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try. Oh, we don't have a Reno style situation. I can't attack the bubble. Unfortunate. Maybe I can clean that. IDK. You're playing a modified version that gives you access to all jobs from the beginning? Oh! Doing Liquid Flame with only Dragoons and a Bard was rough as shit. Couldn't break rods, no access to ice? Yo!
I love this.
Interesting. Bum, bum, bum.
Mega damage!
Time to power level, my dude. Otherwise, you would have still been freelancer and you could just break 2 rods and be good. Yeah. Yo, that fucking chunked me. This fight's quite a bit more difficult comparatively.
Blue Dragon Hall!
He's gonna delete that front row. Gene's gonna die again. Bum, 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 bum. Nope, never mind. We killed him. 60k experience points. Fuck yeah. I got a little dicey, a little touch and go. It's good to know that I'm not completely over-leveled on the content. I'm like, some things are still dangerous, you know? Hey! There's an eye here! I did not know that. Left Sapphire Jewel.
At last, hero! Now we have both of the Dragon Eye Jewels! Now we have both the Star Pupils! But where do we find the Dragon of the High Church? Could wander around the world forever and never find it, hero!
Dragon of the High Church. Ooh, what's... that second door was a little inconspicuous. Aha. Wait, what? That didn't take me back anywhere. What the fuck? Did we not have to fight that guy? Could we have gone around him? Wild. Absolutely wild if that's the case. Optional boss, potentially. I mean, I don't have a fucking clue. But that's pretty neat. Just the mere concept of it being an optional boss is pretty fucking cool. Truth be told. That shit's pretty rare. Like, having a secret passage next to the boss that you could get around them on. Mwah. Wonderful. Okay. That is the water ruins down. The only two places, only one place I know of is the hot springs. The other place that I suspect is Illusion Tower. So, I guess let's go to the hot springs again. It's hot springs time. Hot springs time. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna actually do what I should have done the previous times, and I'm going to actually sit down and puzzle it out. Ugh, I pressed the wrong button. And it's gonna be aces. We're gonna go get some items. No! I went to the wrong place. Otis, you trying to sleep? That's too fucking bad, boy bean. That's too fucking bad, boy bean. You're not paid to sleep. He's not paid at all. We actually talked about that earlier. He needs to get a job. You need to get a job, boy bean. You getting too expensive. You need a good job. Yes, sir. Our apartment has now required us to pay to register our pets. We paid a pet deposit and we pay a $25 a month pet fee. But our apartment has now required all its tenants to go through this website where you have to give all this information about your pet and everything like that, and then it's $25 a month per pet, which is kind of bullshit.
You gotta agree to poop testing.
Yeah, you gotta agree to poop testing because they have such a problem with fucking that. They have such a problem with people walking like dogs and things like that and then not picking up their poop that they have put in a policy in their scenario where you have to agree, if you want a pet, you have to agree to them being able to require DNA testing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just like install some cameras and catch the people who are doing it and find them and evict them.
They go test your poop.
Like, poop testing is like, that is a whole nother level. That sparks me as a little out there. A little out there. But what do I know? I don't own a rental property. Who the fuck am I? Who am I, Otis? Who am I? Yeezer. Yeezer. Can I help you? Don't. You put that paw down. You put that paw down. Yo, you put that paw down. Sir. I guess technically I don't have to bring the Dagon ship. I don't have to bring the dragon ship over here. Okay. We're heading in. don't know how I feel about this one. Oh, this is... Oh, this is the dungeon that we tried to start the epilogue in, and it kind of kicked my ass. Well, it didn't kick my ass. Like, we were killing the things in it, but it was very slow and very painful. So, yeah. Okay. What? We have. I am going to... I'm actually going to do this ye old-fashioned way. On paper. I'm going to make some... Oh, where's my... Did I pack it away already? I need my notebook. You know what? This is a pretty good place as any for us to go ahead and end this episode. So, if you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to keep playing. If you're watching on YouTube, hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time for more Lunar 2 Eternal Blue.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.